Hello, everyone. Come on in, have a seat to get some of this soul smudge for you. Take a few deep breaths, set your intentions for this reading, what you hope to accomplish and gain insight on. I already have some cards drawn out from the Dreams of Gaia deck, which is always so deep for me. So many synchronicities coming forward. It's a highly unusual deck, has so much imagery to unpack. So let's go ahead and get started. So I first went in with the Crystal Grid Oracle, a new deck for me. I've only used it a few times here on the channel, but I have thoroughly shuffled it, I promise you that. And the card that comes out is 28 Lightbringer Candle Quartz, also using traditional quartz in that one. Looking very much like a straight line, a column or something to me in this moment, or like almost a turtle or something. And then we have under the deck the preceding card, the number 27, Solutions with Hypersthene. I haven't heard of that gemstone before. Can you take that in? This one looks more akin to the medicine wheel, talking about seasons, cycles, reflections, and inversions, and mirroring so many things. It talks about healing and connectivity between kingdoms, realms, species, and elementals, and so on. And so with the name Solutions, it's really drawing us into the depths of potentials and being able to utilize the multiple abundant resources that we do have, instead of giving our attention over to the shadow side of what is thought to be lacking in any situation. So with that precursor there, the light bringer, the solutions bringer, 27 and 28, I've laid out, let's see, 12 cards here from the Dreams of Gaia deck. And just maybe I'll just give you a quick peek. It's going to be upside down, but I'm just going to tilt you down here to take a look at how the layout of the cards is oriented. Hope you can see that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 on the top, and then on the bottom we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm doing that mirrored so that it will read for you guys, hopefully from left to right is how these are laid out. The top ones are around the solutions grid, and these ones I was feeling are reflecting the viewer or the situation that we're reading for you in your particular life for. I'm getting a bit of a rushing pressure difference ringing in the right ear here. So the first 3 cards, we have this fire dragon ace card, the ace of fire, some wands energy here. Of course, we always can be talking about signs if you're reading in that way, but I'm reading images in this deck today. And the ace of fire here, being that the aces in this deck are represented by dragons with eggs typically, this one really talks about an activation of our passions, of our fire. It could be coming through in justice, injustice, power, anger, aggression, sexual urge, something such as that being awakened. And so those are the activations that are being spoken about, and solutions are being desired for perhaps a rekindling of the fires within our own personal life and our own person itself. Like if you're feeling bored, apathetic, or that maybe the good times are behind you, or that you've lost some kind of luster or joy of life, then this is asking for solutions to bring these back in or breathe new fires of passion into an existing relationship. So take your messages, apply it to your situation. In between, I took this card. This appears to be the Four of Water as a context card. So two things with this one. I want the light to hit that. There we go. Let's see. Can we get that to brighten up? Maybe not. So anyways, if you could check out his eyes, he has one eye each differently, but he's staring into this mirror. And the context here is talking about being distracted by the appearances, particularly in our choice of mate. Now, even though there's three on this side, I want to pause and bring attention to the lower half of what's developing in the lower story here. And the lower cards, I was asking for cards to represent the object of the inquiry. So the above would be to uh, reflect your own questioner energies coming into this with context. The below is the object that you're looking to attract. So the first card here, I'm going to show these ones in tandem with your cards. So you have the Ace of Fire, this activating dragon energy, which wants you to stand in your authority and power and to get fired back up for something, the soul spark, reignition. Check out their card. Why am I having trouble with lighting? Give me a moment to adjust. All right, let's try this angle. It's incrementally better. See how they're both fiery cards. This one reminds me of Lyrian ancestry, soul, star seed energy from perhaps other star cultures. And again, with being lit up, but the dragon comes through with a very masculine seed, and this card here with more of a feminine flair to me. And so I haven't quite made out what that activation is that's leading both of these souls into some type of co-resonance here. They have some type of soul work to be doing together, because there's a lot of mirroring. And again, so let's look at the second card. So speaking of mirroring, see how this individual is distracted by some type of appearance. Then we have the card from the below here coming in with this feminine aspect. Look at her eyes. She has one eye each. One looks quite normal. One is almost more reptilian-ish, cat-like, animalistic, you know. And she's got the cosmos in her head. So for the context card for the above, we're talking about this appearances and the love interest. And what I was getting was, are we really taking in just a subtle appearance that doesn't have the depth that we're assigning or attributing to those surface level traits? Like if somebody's kind and well liked socially, we tend to think that they're nice individuals and that they are well liked because they're good people, right? But sometimes those people are just putting on those social airs and acting a certain way, but inside there's actually, you know, a lot of deeper waters where there's a lot of vanity or illusion or judgments of self and other, preoccupation. I'm seeing an enormous spider over there. Interesting. I mean, yeah, there's always spider energy when I pull out this deck here. But yeah, it's crawling across an old grapevine wreath I have over here. And it looks big and fat like this guy. So, not to interject here, but that one, it's like the viewer, you can flip and reverse this because it's general, right? But I'm sensing that the viewers are more likely to be feminine on my channel. And so if you need to flip this, then go ahead. But I'm sensing that the top line here is more like the attraction to masculines that appear to be a certain way, but then are in their own way very superficial, that we are perhaps projecting our light onto others and seeing that which we want to believe at 1010. And for the masculine, perhaps on the lower card layout here, we've got this feminine that appears to be enlightened, cosmically connected, star-born, as is the energy that's actually being sought out here. But look at the wrists there. Even though she's got the potential to be this, even though she's giving the broadcast that that's who she is trying to be seen as, she has this dagger at the wrists, like she's just trapped by some type of limiting belief structure, and that her hands are so-called tied. So this may be predisposition to be attracted to women who seem to be very caring and connected and in tuned and very wise, but that women, men, whatever, individuals that actually don't choose that higher path, no matter how much they understand that it's an option, that they get caught up in illusions and distractions and self-sabotage. And so it's like, with both of these individuals, it doesn't mean that they're bad people. It's that the the subtle awareness that so many out there are not really where the viewer finds themselves in the consciousness journey. Not to say that others are worse off or otherwise, but that there's been some type of dashed expectations here and illusion. So let's move back to the top row here. So this viewer, perhaps the feminine, take it as you will, this individual seems to be, this is their objective, if you will, what they've chosen to do with that knowledge. This individual has been looking beyond the realms, and even perhaps through different mediums such as psychic mediums or tarot channels, or even broadcasts such as TV shows, storytelling, reading books that are more magical or romantical or occult mystical studies. This person has been learning the human dimension as it pertains to their own spiritual awakening and development here. Now, looking at the below line here that's developing, this appears to be another masculine card, and it is a dark card, but if we can get a look at that, we see this individual is actually, perhaps they were the one projecting these codes into the aura of the other and awakening them, and they were just reflecting that, just like we saw in the mirroring card. But this individual has taken time from an early age to, again, look at those darker elements. I don't know if this individual is a Scorpio or has some Scorpio in their chart, maybe like a cusp with, like, let's say Libra and Scorpio or something, for instance, but they have chosen to create their own sacred keys. They have some alchemical potions here. Maybe there's somebody who even wears cologne or perfumes and likes to smell good. That would be very Libran or Scorpionic, I could say. But yeah, they're reading the sacred text. They're studying something, creating some type of artistry out of their life and creating greater awareness. But it looks like they are wearing gloves here, which kind of tells me that they've been one step removed from honoring their own authentic spiritual authority compared to the one that's being evidenced here in this card, where this individual is just watching the screen of intuition and letting their intuition kind of decipher. This individual is more comfortable perhaps looking and learning about other people's uh, research and scientific findings, but the gloves tell me that there's a buffer between their awareness of their own magical capacity here. They're still thinking that they are the master's apprentice, but it looks like by the amount of studies and scrolls and things surrounding them, and this extreme amount of codes here, those soul blueprints that are being activated, it's a sacred remembering for these individuals happening here based on the context of their attraction patterns and previous engagements with other energies. So then we have the crux of the matter, finding solutions, bringing light to the issue. And I feel like this comes into the point of the maturity cycle. So the feminine card, she is kind of sprawled out in all of her glory here, completely nude. So we'll just cover her a little bit for the viewers. And she's laid out in a very sensual, self accepting, even seductive, but self possessed. It's not like I'm looking for somebody to come and get me. It's more like I am one with nature. It's completely different. And so by being at one with the nature of the collective, and I'm seeing this brown eye above, this person may have brown eyes or darker eyes. She's seen just kind of like kicked back and in alignment with these huge totem animals, this wise owl and the cheetah. So she may be, and a big waterfall in the background, which looks more like streaming light codes than it does like water to me. Very abundant. I'm seeing a musical, what is it? Is it called a treble clef or something? The one that looks like the ampersand, where it's like kind of comes up and around like so. At the base here. Uh, yeah, so she may be very into music or something like that, but this is like her own inner acceptance through this process of watching the way that others are so distracted by appearances. And this may have come through at an early age, others judging um, the individual's appearance and them, because of this pressure, instead of, I mean, maybe they still have sensitivities, but really becoming quite aware of their own magic and beauty and potential, and really reaching a place of deep inner self-love and acceptance. And then on the so-called masculine aspect here in the below line, we have this really mature, otherworldly masculine. This is, I see, are those birds ibis or something? It's bringing in Egyptian lore, this fly energy, which sometimes can be quite overlooked, this beetle, some phoenix, some antlers on both of them. The feminine has antlers that then has two peacock feathers hanging down. So she's quite unique. She's quite fiery and Queen of Wands-ish in that way. And this individual, perhaps more cosmic air, I want to say. So could be any sign truly, but possibly even um, some Pisces, Aquarius type energies. Could be anybody. All signs have their mojo and magic, but it's coming through with a very fatherly, grandfatherly imagery, and I sense that this is even more advanced than what the soul is in body. But if that looks like someone that you know, this may be a presentation of that person coming through this reading. It could even be like an individual whose fatherly, grandfatherly, masculine authority figure or role model could even be more of like even a mythical um, masculine, you know, like those who have had less than integrous role models on masculine or feminine. Sometimes we can look at those mythical storybooks and the the lore of things like Egyptian or so on, and we can identify more so with those archetypal energies, which really helps us to resonate with our higher aspect. So this could even be the old soul or something, but it's like the idealized version of their masculine, intuitive, embodied incarnation. And it's like somebody who's really come in contact with all that they are and has so much sacred knowledge, and they must be somehow funneling this through voice or by the way that they are seeing things, looking at things. They are transmuting energies in a very powerful way, because we can see those light codes coming in through the antlers and then pouring forth from the mouth like a waterfall, pouring forth from the eyes as though tears flooding forward. So this may be a powerful image for you. It may even be something to do with Native American cultures. But there's so much cosmic nature on this lower end of things, and much more earthly energy in the above, although both have both. Moving on to the fifth card in each, the above, we have this priestess energy, and you'll see that her staff points somewhat beyond her, as if she's guarding a portal, like, if you think you can handle it, come on down the rabbit hole. I will guide you and guard you and protect you on your travels. And this to me is the um, feminine priestess energy. I'm seeing that serpent around her staff, um, and the emerald. So definite Raphael, Thoth energy here. Celtic energy is strong in this reading as well. In several places here we see the imagery, but she has almost, whether it's just the markings around her eyes appear green to me. So I don't know if someone that is a spiritual mentor has green eyes or something such as that, but it's very like witchy, cosmic witchy vibes here. But it actually, to me, it almost looks like, and we've even got those mushrooms there right before the portal, like one makes you bigger, one makes you smaller. um, which one are you going to eat? And this small portal here, immediately I was getting yoni vibes and the protection of the sacred portal into the inner realms of the feminine, and how that witnessing of the appearances and the witnessing of the nature has created this otherworldly awareness and the ability to walk, I'd say, a foot in both worlds. But for both of these parties, it's like one eye in each world. An eye that is aware to the human frailty and missteps, but also an eye in the realms of the unconditional, loving, unconditionally multiversal awareness of quantum, and how um, we can create something new, even from the ashes of the old type of mentality here. And she has this crow raven right beside her. She may be somebody who is very earthly, witchy, and does some herbal apothecary type stuff, medicinals, and shamanic journeying of different sorts. Um, and to mirror that one, we have this cosmic egg for the masculine. And so with this yoni imagery here, the sacred portal to the sacred divine, I'm seeing the masculine also working through possibly practices that would be regarding the release cycles, such as working those kundalini um, practices of what do we call that? Retaining the seed, retaining, not letting oneself experience orgasm or something like that. But whether it's the real way of completely, um, you know, limiting that personal expression, or whether it is just reserving for the sacred, reserving for the self, and or whatnot, it seems as though this more masculine side has also been reserving their potential life-giving capacity for something real. And again, we see the skulls. And so this individual has perhaps had, they may have, let's say, they may have already had one child with one individual. We see the snake going through the one eye sockets, and perhaps two other potentials that really made it further than any others, but they're reserving their hopes to do more going forward. And so there's that vibe of conception that's been running through the cards in recent months. And then the last card in each we have for this feminine line, this feminine unmasking. It's as though she's caught someone's eye across the ball, the masquerade ball, and removing the mask to be like, are you looking at me? And and like no fear. And there's a deer behind her. I'm just noticing behind her. Still nurturing that immune system here. Bear with me. She has a dragon on her shoulder, or on her forearm here, that has its own magical staff. And that deer is all about vulnerability and timidity. Perhaps that's why we see her back here. She's turned her back on traditional society and has drawn within to experience something and to create her awareness and to do her journeying and exploration. She's literally gone to traverse the skies here and have firsthand experience. So it's not any less profound or more profound than this individual, but just a different way to do it. But this individual on the top seems to be somewhat more reserved and timid, and more secretive, more priestess empress energy coming out on the top here. So both archetypal feminine, the empress of expression, self-love, and sensuality, mixed with the sacred protection of the sacred mystery and the garter and protector, provider, the ferocious and gentle feminine, all encapsulated into one expression above. And being aware perhaps that power isn't for everyone. And so the mask is there, and suddenly she's like, oh, you see me behind my mask. I guess I don't need this in your presence. How you doing? Type of a thing. And so this has the impact of really having this huge upgrade for the masculine, bringing in another ace to round out the reading. And here comes the ace of water. And so check out that heart there. It's reminding me of some different hearts that we see around. But for me, it's talking about the Trinity. It's talking about unlocking the heart space, and it's also talking about how the feminine line has the alpha masculine fire, even though she's subdued, and the masculine here showing up with the ace in the alpha feminine element of water. It's like the two have perhaps been on this quest of needing to complete themselves, is I guess the bigger solution here that the light is bearing down upon us to show us, is that we have been rejected on purpose from these various illusions, and it has allowed us to unpack our own personal magic and our interconnectivity to be able to weave this solution into being through ourselves. Because had we been answered with somebody who was okay right off the bat, then we would perhaps not continue to develop the self. It would be easy. It would be, okay, this is how it is. This is great. But if we are constantly pushed back into the self, then there's nobody there to like share the energetic load in codependency and completion in that regards, but self-completion, full self-possession comes from that seeming lack of understanding. The lack of completion from without forces the self to regenerate all aspects, all underutilized, taken for granted, taken for stride, projected or adapted, absorbed tendencies, and to wash these out into a brilliant idea of, not only self-worth, but destined, like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right type of idea. And here we have this universal feminine, this Gaia influence here overseeing this portal space, where I feel like the two wavelengths are coming into greeting and meeting and making that hermetic light code wave function that's coming through and enlightening each other. Two wholes making an exponential lighthouse, a beacon of these light codes moving forward. So I sense that this is something quite profound. And if you have not met an individual that is activating this within you, but you still resonate with these messages, it looks like this is coming into the near future very soon, because it's coming into the cards. So violet flame, there's that transmutation of expectations, of fears. Don't become distracted by apparent failures, but know that that is honing your resonance for something magical and exponential. Let's see, we have right order. Yeah, everything is in perfect order, and two people are on a very mirrored path. We had this recently. It was like the light warrior and the shaman on mutually mirroring frequencies. So this definitely looks like a light warrior and a shaman to me. Very interesting. And then we have up. To me, this is somebody who's not only leveling up, but is shifting their frequency up. And this is bringing both individuals into common ground where they can resonate. So look at this. Oh my goodness. So check this out. This is the glyph I was talking about on the bottom that looks like the musical sign. Do you see it on the log? I don't know. This lighting is so bad. But look at it there. Look at it there, indeed. So there's something here that's music to your ears. There's something like somebody's voice resonates so deeply. Songs on the radio can be speaking to you. Oh, union on the bottom of the deck here. And what else do we have under here? We've also got confidence, innocence, and right. I love that, because we were in the Daily Dharma today, which is uploading now, talking about reunifying our energies and to be able to write our prayers into fruition through speaking, singing, and actually writing things down, declaring our boundaries, and invoking the declaration and demand for the universe that our lessons become less struggle-minded and struggle-based, and help us to learn gently and to bring those solutions in easily with the less resistance in our own person. And that does take quite a bit of healing. So we've got